Superman is boring. He's too nice. How could you ever relate to a character like that? In the growing age of modern cynicism, people love flawed heroes. Characters who are ruthless, have to deal with moral struggles daily. They make mistakes, and aren't always the best heroes. People love anti-heroes because they think these characters have more substance behind them. We had a whole, if I had powers, I would be like Homelander or Omni-Man phase in the internet. But why is that? Why is being moral and righteous looked down upon? Why is being a good person considered a weakness? Why is Superman not cool? Is it because he's not an interesting character, that he's too unrealistic, or that he's only good for the sake of being good? Well, he is. Not the boring part that's because of the writers who write those stories sometimes don't understand Superman as a character, but the rest. That's the point of Superman. He's not supposed to be like us. He's supposed to be good for no other reason other than that's just who he is. He's not supposed to be realistic, none of these characters are. But Superman, he's there to show us what it means to be an ideal human. To be good when no one around you is good. To uphold morality in a corrupted world. To face people who know will do you wrong, but you still continue to be good to them. He's not perfect. He's not a god. He's just a kind man who chooses to do the right thing, even when the whole world mocks him for it, because that's what real heroes do.
They saw the ugliness of violence as a solution, and it frightened them. It frightened me too when I decided to cross that line and do what you do. It's so easy. Anger. Vengeance. Luckily, I'm not you, and I never will be.
Would you be?
I don't make mistakes. I'm not just like the rest of you. I'm stronger. I'm smarter. I'm better. I am better.
Or would you be?
You don't seem to understand. Earth isn't yours to conquer.
Or could you be? Superman, Homelander, Omni-Man. Face value, all three of these characters are quite similar. They are all extremely powerful, almost unstoppable in their individual verses, and if they wanted to could easily take over the world. But only Superman chooses not to. Why is that? Homelander is a science experiment. A man-child still seeking validation and love from the world because he got none when he was a child. He grew up hating humans because he was tortured and experimented on by the very people he believed was his family. Regularly mocked by the person that he considered his father figure and had an incestuous relationship with the person that he thought was like his mother. This caused him to build an inferiority complex while having a massive ego that he is the strongest. This is the reason for the way he acts and why he doesn't care about anyone else. He regularly puts citizens' lives in danger, never caring enough to save them, manufacturing terrorists just so that he can defeat them and look good in front of the public, especially in the later seasons where he embraced his sadistic side and decided he is going to stop pretending in front of the world. He becomes more aggressive, more angry, almost marries a Nazi, all because till this day he is still just that kid stuck in a lab hoping that someone would love him. Omni-Man is an alien built for war. The Viltrumites had a simple policy: if you are weak, then you are worthless and should die. He lived with this mindset all of his life, and when he had come to conquer Earth, this is all he had in his mind, to destroy the weak. But then he fell in love, had a son, and slowly he started understanding that strength is not all that matters in this world. But still, those years of nurture weren't enough to remove the decades of brainwashing he had gotten from the Empire. We see this when he's so easily destroying an entire civilization because they were trying to conquer the Earth he was sent to conquer. This flipped a switch in him. He fought his son to near death because he was against conquering the planet. He called his wife a pet and that he never cared about her. He killed thousands of people in his rampage, but in the end he chose to escape because he couldn't bring himself to kill his son, because he didn't want to believe that his mindset was already changing. that he no longer cared about just power. It shows how love and compassion can change a person built for war to learn how to love. Unlike Homelander and Omni-Man, Superman was never driven by trauma or conquest. He was guided by love and purpose. He wasn't born on Earth, but he was raised here by two kind, humble farmers who taught him what truly matters: love, compassion, responsibility. He never needed to be feared. He never wanted to be worshipped. He just wanted to help. Unlike Homelander, he doesn't crave validation because he already received what Homelander never did: unconditional love. And unlike Omni-Man, he wasn't raised in a war-fueled empire. He was raised in a home where humanity wasn't something to conquer, but something to cherish. Superman chooses to hold back, not because he can't win, but because he knows that real power lies in restraint. He could rule the world if he wanted to, but he doesn't. Because what makes Superman truly powerful isn't his strength, it's his morality. He represents what we could be if we always chose kindness over cruelty, hope over fear, and selflessness over domination. That's what makes him the blueprint, not of a god, but of an ideal human being. Superman, in many ways, can be considered a stoic. He has control over his emotions. He's able to face impossible situations and still not be overwhelmed. Yes, he feels pain. Yes, he feels loss. He has fear, but he never lets any of it control him. The core of stoicism is simple. You don't control the world. You only control yourself. And Superman embodies that philosophy. He doesn't care how the world sees him, whether people think he's a threat, a villain, or just an outsider. But still, every single day, he shows up. He saves people. Not for fame, not for money, not to be liked. He does it because it's the right thing to do. That's what makes him the greatest. Not his powers, but his love for humanity. His belief that everyone in this world is good and worth saving. Those values, they were instilled in him since he was a child. And it's because of them that even after all the hardships he's faced, he's never failed to do good. It's not Superman's powers that make him the hero. It's his humanity. Because Clark Kent is who he truly is. Superman is just what he can do. But stoicism alone can't fully explain Superman's philosophy. For that, we turn to Plato's idea of the philosopher king. Plato believed that the ideal society should be ruled by someone who has both the power and the wisdom to rule, but chooses not to. Sounds familiar?
Superman is that philosopher king. He could end all crime in seconds. He could wipe out every villain on the planet. But he doesn't. Not because he's weak, but because he knows. It's not his right to decide who deserves to live and who doesn't. He lives in humility, behind his hypno-glasses, not because he's hiding from the world, but because that's just the kind of man he is. He doesn't want to rule. He'd rather live life quietly, as a farm boy, with the people he loves. But make no mistake, when someone cries out for help, he's there, in a heartbeat, no hesitation, no second thoughts, because he knows it's the right thing to do. So when people say, Superman is boring, maybe it's because he makes them uncomfortable. He holds up a mirror to society, showing us what the ideal man could be, what we could be, if we were just a little more kind, a little more courageous, a little more helpful. He doesn't need to be edgy. He doesn't need to be morally gray. He doesn't need to be broken just to feel relatable. He's not supposed to be like us. He's supposed to show us what we could become. He represents hope, that humanity can do better. He's just a friend, a man trying to help, and asking nothing in return, because Superman proves one thing: you don't need super strength to help others. All you need is heart, the heart to do good, even when no one's watching, the heart to believe that everyone deserves a second chance, and the heart to know that everyone in this world is worthy of love. When I was young, I hoped I could be like Superman. I wished I could fly, have super strength, and shoot laser beams from my eyes. But as I grew up, all I wish is to be like Clark Kent and have just an ounce of the love and humanity he shows for everyone in this world.